Dear soul, please pay close attention. The angels are tuning into your energy right now because they have something urgent to reveal. They want you to understand the truth behind the question, did they lie to your future spouse? And just confess the truth after all this time? In today's tarot reading, your angels gently unveil what's been hidden and why this moment of truth might change everything. Dear child, your angels have been watching over you through every silent tear you've shed, through every moment when you felt the weight of confusion pressing against your chest, when you wondered if something sacred had been broken without your knowing. They know the question that's been lingering in your spirit. Did someone really lie to your future partner? Did they twist the truth, delay its telling, or blur the lines of your character in the eyes of someone who may be destined to love you deeply? And now, as truth begins to unravel from the shadows, your soul aches for clarity. The heavens are not ignoring this ache. In fact, they have wrapped their light around you in this very moment to share a message of divine understanding. The one who needed space was not simply retreating from the connection. They were overwhelmed by the emotional intensity of what they knew and what they failed to confess. They were not ready to face the truth within themselves, let alone reveal it to another, especially not to someone as significant as your future partner. There was fear in their silence. A fear that admitting the truth might dismantle something precious or reveal something they themselves were not proud of. But beloved, the delay in truth was never about you being unworthy. It was about them not being strong enough at the time to stand in full integrity. Type Amen if you trust in God. Your angels want you to know that needing space is not always abandonment. Sometimes it is a pause written by divine hands. It is a gap created not to punish but to prepare. The person who delayed this truth, the one who held back words that should have been spoken long ago, was undergoing their own spiritual crisis. Their heart was not yet ready to admit the depth of what they were carrying, and their soul was not grounded enough to face the impact it would have on others. So they ran, not always physically but emotionally, mentally, spiritually. They pulled away and called it space. But that space became a mirror, and in it, they began to see the weight of their choices. And though they may have taken their time, and though their silence may have hurt you deeply, the confession that came after was not casual. It was born out of inner reckoning. It came from a place where even they could no longer carry the guilt of what had been left unsaid. Dear child, you may never fully know what was spoken behind closed doors, or how many nights your name echoed in their conscience before the truth was finally admitted. But heaven has seen it. Heaven has witnessed every moment this person stood at the crossroads of silence and truth, and has watched as they finally chose to surrender to honesty. The confession did not come to destroy what is meant for you. It came to clear the path. Sometimes the truth waits, not because it is unimportant, but because divine timing knows when a heart is finally ready to carry it with wisdom, not rage. Your future spouse, too, is being guided by divine understanding. The angels are ministering to their spirit, helping them discern not only what was said, but why it was said, and what truly matters now. They are being shown your soul, not through the words of others, but through signs, dreams, revelations that come from above. The confession they've heard is just the beginning. Heaven is working to ensure they feel the truth that lives in your spirit, a truth that no human words can taint. There is no part of your story that can be permanently distorted by someone else's delay or mistake. You are not the version someone else painted in fear or weakness. You are the truth that cannot be buried forever. and your angels are lifting the veils one by one, not just for others to see you clearly, but so you can see yourself without the burden of how others have mishandled your name. This space, this pause, is not emptiness. It is sacred ground. It is the breath between the hurt and the healing. It is where souls come to rest, reflect, and realign. And though it may feel like abandonment, it is actually divine grace, giving everyone involved the chance to choose love over fear, truth over illusion. Beloved, you are not meant to chase clarity from people who are still learning how to be honest with themselves. You are not meant to carry the burden of being misunderstood by those who don't yet understand their own hearts. You are being asked to trust in a deeper unfolding, one that is not being written by confusion or delay, but by divine orchestration. And even if someone once tried to hide the truth about you, the angels are now amplifying your truth in the hearts of those who need to hear it. This includes your future spouse. Their soul is being stirred. Their spirit is being shown glimpses of who you truly are. Not the version someone once tried to shade with doubt or fear, but the radiant being you've always been beneath the noise. And when they see you, when they feel your energy, they will not be confused. They will recognize you as if they've always known you, because at the soul level, they have. You don't have to fight for your truth to be seen, dear child. The divine is doing that for you. What was hidden is being revealed. What was delayed is now coming forward. But more importantly, you are being called to rest, to stop rehearsing what was said, what wasn't said, how long it took, or what damage was done. That is not your burden anymore. Your role is to prepare your heart for what comes next, to choose peace over resentment, to choose stillness over obsession. You are entering a chapter where divine justice will not just correct what was mishandled, it will elevate you to a space where you are loved in full truth, not partial stories. The angels are not asking you to pretend that the pain didn't happen. They are not minimizing the impact of the delay. But they are asking you to see the sacred gift within the space that was created. Because in that space, you grew, you evolved, you found your strength, and you learned that truth, even when delayed, will always find its way. You are safe now, dear one. Safe to let go of the need to understand every detail. Safe to stop replaying conversations you were never meant to control. Safe to release the worry that someone else's delay has ruined your destiny. Nothing that is meant for you can be kept from you. Not by silence, not by lies, not by the fear of others. What is divine will find its way. And your future, your love story, your peace, is still very much on its way to you. In the eyes of heaven, you have done enough. You have waited, you have cried, you have grown, and now it is time to receive. Dear child, your angels are standing beside you with great tenderness in their eyes. For they know what your heart has been holding without rest. You have carried not only your own pain, but the heavy shadow of someone else's silence, someone else's choice to speak the wrong words, or none at all, when your truth was in their hands. They know how this has exhausted you, how it has drained your joy slowly over time like water slipping through cracked stone. How you have waited for answers, for justice, for even the smallest flicker of acknowledgement that what was done to your name behind your back was never fair. The message from heaven today is one of deep compassion. For in this moment, the energy around the person who withheld the truth or misled your future spouse is not one of triumph or peace. It is one of complete spiritual fatigue. This person is not celebrating their deception. They are being crushed beneath the weight of their own actions. The stress of what they have done or allowed to be misunderstood has been eroding their inner world. And while you may have felt forgotten in this storm, heaven assures you, you are not the one breaking beneath it. They are. Type, I believe, if you believe in God's plan. The angels reveal that this person who may have spoken falsely or stayed quiet at a time when your truth mattered most has been trapped in a cycle of inner torment. It is not simply guilt. It is the unbearable pressure of living a double truth. Outwardly, they may have appeared stable or unaffected, but inwardly, they have been spiraling. The truth they buried didn't disappear. It grew heavier with time. It created knots in their spirit, sleepless nights, emotional exhaustion that they tried to hide behind smiles or silence. But heaven sees all. The stress they now feel is not just a reaction to being caught or exposed. It is a divine consequence, a soul-level unraveling meant to lead them back to their integrity. Your angels do not bring this message to foster revenge or satisfaction in you, dear child. They bring it to help you understand that justice is already in motion, that energy is being balanced, and that you need not carry this burden on your shoulders anymore. You are not responsible for the shame they now feel. You are not the one who caused the storm. They did. But the storm will not touch your destiny, because what is meant for you is protected. Beloved, the person your angels speak of may have once believed that hiding the truth would protect someone. Maybe themselves, maybe your future spouse, maybe even you. But now they are seeing that lies, even if small, do not disappear. They transform into pressure, into emotional weight, into sleepless thoughts that replay over and over again. They cannot outrun the truth anymore. And what is draining them now is not just the secret itself, but the fear of how deeply they may have hurt you, how much damage they may have done to something that was meant to be divine. They are overwhelmed, not because they don't care, but because they care too late. And that too is part of the divine rebalancing taking place. Dear child, you may never hear their confession directly. You may never see the tears they shed in private, but the angels assure you this person has been forced to face themselves. The divine light has shined into the places they tried to keep hidden, and they are exhausted, spiritually and emotionally, because truth has a power that no lie can contain forever. Your future spouse, too, is not left in darkness. The truth that was once kept from them is now slowly being revealed. Not only through words, but through energy, through signs, through the quiet knowing that builds when something doesn't sit right in the soul. Heaven is guiding their heart to discern what is real. The angels are whispering into their spirit, giving them glimpses of your truth, helping them feel your innocence and your worth beyond what anyone else may have said. They are being shown not just who you are, but how sacred your role is in their life. What was confused is becoming clear, and what was manipulated is being restored. You may ask, why did it take so long? Why did someone wait until now to tell the truth? And why does it seem like they are the one suffering while I still feel forgotten? But dear child, the angels want you to know, the divine timeline is never delayed. Sometimes truth waits until it can no longer be suppressed. Sometimes the weight of deception must become so unbearable that the soul is forced to choose between crumbling completely or rising in repentance. And though it may seem like you were the one abandoned, in truth, you were the one protected. You were spared from walking alongside someone who was not yet aligned with their higher self. And now, with this confession, with this emotional exhaustion flooding through their life, they are finally beginning to understand the magnitude of what they've done. This is not about punishment. It is about awakening. Your angels ask you now to release the part of your heart that is still waiting for someone else to fix the wound they caused. Let them carry the burden of their actions. Let heaven deal with their guilt. You are not here to carry the emotional weight of others. You are here to rise. You are here to heal. You are here to receive the love that is built on truth, not fear. And if your future spouse is meant to walk this life with you, their heart will be stirred by truth, not confusion. The angels will not allow your destiny to be rerouted by someone else's fear. And if the confession has already happened, if your name was finally spoken in truth, then the healing has already begun. Let it unfold. Let the divine handle what is too heavy for you. Focus now not on the stress that others feel, but on the peace that you are being offered. You have earned rest. You have earned clarity. You have earned love that does not hide in the shadows. The person who felt so overwhelmed by their own silence may now be learning how sacred your presence truly was. They may now be wishing they had spoken sooner, that they had defended your name instead of hiding behind convenience or fear. But the angels say, you are not waiting for regret. You are moving toward redemption. You are being elevated to a timeline where the truth is not hidden, where love is not delayed, where your worth is no longer questioned. This pain will not follow you. It has served its purpose. It has exposed what needed to be exposed. And now, your spirit is free to receive what is coming. So breathe, dear child. Breathe in the knowing that heaven never forgot you, that your truth was never erased, that even when others could not handle the weight of their actions, the divine has been lifting you gently through it all. Let that be your peace. Let that be your strength. And when the final truth rises into light, know that your heart was always the safest place for love to land. You are protected. You are seen. You are loved in a way that no lie could ever undo. Dear child, the angels are drawing near to your heart right now, not because you are weak or broken, but because you have held so much for so long without anyone fully realizing just how deeply you've been affected. The pain you carry is not just about betrayal. It's about the silent damage that happens when someone you trusted allowed your truth to be buried, when someone knew what needed to be said but withheld it until the damage was already done. And now, as that truth finally rises into the light, you are being asked to sit with feelings that are so much more than sadness. You are feeling the weight of delayed truth, the ache of a story that could have been prevented, the deep soul tiredness that comes when you realize someone else's fear or pride has altered the path your love life could have taken. And yet, beloved, the angels say this: what has been damaged is not irreparable, but it must be acknowledged, not just by the one who caused the pain, but by you, so that your soul can begin to release what it has clung to in silence for far too long. Type strong if you trust in God's presence. The one who lied, or allowed a lie to live in the space between you and your future, is hurting now too, not because they were caught, but because they finally see the ripple effects of their silence. This was not a minor mistake. It was a spiritual wound, one that tore through more than just relationships. It shook trust. It seeded doubt. And it caused confusion where there should have been clarity. Your angels have watched both sides, the pain you've quietly endured, and the shame and regret that now weighs heavy on the one who withheld the truth. They want you to know, this is not just your burden. The universe is not blind to how much was taken from you in the delay, but neither is it blind to the deep soul reckoning happening now on the other side. You are not alone in your pain. And as strange as it may feel, the one who kept the truth hidden is also unraveling inside. They are haunted by the way things unfolded, by the way your story could have gone differently had they only spoken up sooner. And while that doesn't erase what happened, it opens a door for healing that was previously locked. Dear child, when the angels speak of damage, they are not pointing to something broken beyond repair. They are naming the rawness of what has happened so that you can stop pretending it didn't matter. It did. You mattered. The way you were spoken about, the way your truth was handled, the way someone else's silence shaped your journey, it all mattered. And the angels are here not to sugarcoat that pain, but to hold it with you, to help you see that healing begins not when others say they're sorry, but when you allow yourself to feel the depth of what this did to your soul. There is grief here, not just for what was lost, but for what was never allowed to grow. The version of your relationship that could have blossomed earlier. The soft unfolding of trust that could have been honored had the truth come sooner. But even in the ashes, the divine is at work. Even in the places where damage has been done, there is something sacred being rebuilt. Not in haste, but in honest, sacred restoration. And beloved, your future spouse, whether they know everything now or are still receiving parts of the truth, is being guided too. Their heart is not left in the dark. The angels are gently showing them what matters. Not just what was said, but what was felt. Not just who spoke, but who remained true in spirit. They are being shown your soul, not through someone else's version, but through divine whispers that awaken their own knowing. And in this process, they too are hurting. They too are asking themselves how much of what they heard before was real, and what was influenced by fear, jealousy, or the need to protect their own heart. But what is sacred cannot be destroyed by confusion. What is real does not vanish in the face of delay. And your connection, if it is truly divine, will not only survive this, it will be reborn from it with deeper roots and stronger wings. The angels are asking you now to breathe deeply into this moment, not to forget what happened, but to soften your grip on the pain it left behind. You are not weak for feeling hurt. You are human, and your heart has been stretched by circumstances that were never your fault. But healing is not just about waiting for someone to make it right. It's about giving yourself permission to feel all that was never spoken, to cry for the delay, to grieve the impact, to honor the emotional labor it took to keep walking when you felt like your truth was invisible, and then, with the gentleness of the divine, to begin to believe again, not in the person who lied, but in the higher order of love that cannot be blocked by anyone's silence. The damage that was done is not the end of your story. It is the middle, and in the middle, the most profound transformations can take place. So let the tears come, if they need to. Let the disappointment speak, if it hasn't had a voice yet. But let it all move through you with the knowledge that your angels are catching every piece of your sorrow. They are gathering it like sacred gold, using it to build a new chapter where your voice is heard, where your truth is honored, where your love is not delayed or distorted by the shadows of someone else's fear. The one who hurt you may now be learning the weight of your absence, the cost of their silence. But your healing does not depend on their growth. It begins with your choice to stop shrinking for the sake of keeping peace, to start expanding into the full, glorious truth of who you are, no matter what anyone else once tried to hide. You are not the damage, dear child. You are the light rising from it. You are not the silence. You are the voice that still speaks love even after being silenced. And the love that is coming to you now will not be born of confusion, but of clarity. It will not arrive through lies, but through divine alignment. You deserve love that does not arrive late, that does not come tangled in guilt or secrecy. You deserve love that is honest from the start, and your angels are leading you there step by sacred step until the damage fades, and only the truth remains. A truth that sets you free, a truth that builds a life worthy of the heart that never stopped believing. Dear child, the heavens have felt every vibration of your soul that cried out in silence, asking why someone would twist your truth, why they would allow your future to be shaped by false words or concealed realities. They know this betrayal wasn't just an action, it was an earthquake in your heart. It shook your faith in how people speak about you when you're not in the room. It forced you to question whether love could survive in a world where honesty was delayed and understanding came too late. But beloved, what the angels are whispering now is sacred. A turning point has arrived. Someone who once failed to see your truth clearly is beginning to awaken, and not just with logic or guilt, but with genuine understanding. A soul that once doubted you or believed what was convenient to accept is now being pulled into a space where they are seeing the story from your side, not as rumor, not as hearsay, but as divine clarity seeping into their spirit. This isn't just an apology being formed in someone's mind. It's a realization blooming in their heart that they never really saw you. And now, they desperately want to. Type 111 if you trust in your guardian angels. The person who once allowed a lie to linger or failed to question the version of events they were fed is now being humbled. The angels have been working in the unseen, stirring dreams, opening spiritual eyes, sending signs that tug at their soul and whisper the truth they once dismissed. They are no longer able to rest comfortably in ignorance. A shift has happened, a veil has lifted, and now they see the pain behind your silence, the strength behind your patience, the depth of your love that they once treated with careless hands. They're not just feeling guilty, they are beginning to understand why you hurt, why their actions, or lack of action, shook something sacred between you. And this understanding isn't surface level, it's soul deep. It's the kind of realization that turns shame into reverence, regret into repentance. It's not just about correcting the narrative. It's about honoring your truth as sacred and never letting it be doubted again. Dear child, your angels want you to understand that this recognition from the one who once misunderstood you is not a coincidence. It is divine timing. Heaven does not allow truth to remain buried forever. And what you have been waiting for, your name being seen clearly, your heart being understood without distortion, is finally unfolding. You may not have witnessed the exact conversation, the exact moment they confess the truth to your future spouse, but your spirit likely felt it. A sudden lightness, a shift, a breaking of an old energetic wall. Because when someone finally says, "I see their side now," the energy begins to realign. And even if they cannot undo what was said or how it once shaped things, this new understanding is powerful enough to heal what words once damaged. It carries the vibration of truth. And truth, beloved, always makes its way back home. But the angels are not just showing you this shift to soothe your pain. They are showing you because they want you to know that your integrity is being rewarded. You did not scream to be heard. You did not manipulate anyone into believing you. You stood in quiet strength, letting your spirit speak louder than any defense you could give. And now, that strength is being recognized. Your side of the story is not just being heard, it is being felt. And your future spouse, too, is part of this divine unfolding. Whether the truth reached them through confession, through intuition, or through a slow unfolding of events, they are being guided by higher forces. They are being moved to see beyond the noise, beyond the confusion, and into the heart of who you truly are. And what they are seeing now is not someone flawed or questionable, but someone deeply honest, someone sacred, someone worth loving with all their soul. Beloved, understanding is not the same as reversal. This moment of clarity does not erase what happened. It does not make the past disappear, but it opens a gate toward healing, toward reconciliation, toward divine justice, not the kind that punishes, but the kind that restores what was nearly lost. The angels are not asking you to forget. They are not asking you to pretend it didn't hurt. They are simply asking you to breathe in this moment, to feel what it's like to finally be seen, not halfway, not hesitantly, but fully, spiritually, soulfully. Let that recognition soothe the ache that's lived inside your chest for far too long. Let it wash over you like warm light. Let it remind you that heaven never stopped working on your behalf, even when it seemed like the world had turned away. The one who once misunderstood you may now be filled with sorrow. They may want to return, to apologize, to rebuild, to hold space for the truth they once denied. And if that happens, your angels will walk with you as you discern what your heart truly needs. You are not obligated to reopen wounds just because someone finally sees the truth. But you are invited to let this new energy lift some of the pain from your soul, because now you are no longer carrying it alone. What you held in silence is now being acknowledged. The misunderstanding is turning into reconciliation, not only in your relationships but within your own heart. The parts of you that once felt betrayed, silenced, cast aside, they are finally being embraced by truth. So, dear child, stand tall, not with pride, but with quiet grace. You were right to trust your heart. You were right to let truth speak for itself. And now, the very people who once doubted you are learning to honor the light that never stopped glowing inside you. Let your heart receive that healing. Let your soul know what it feels like to be understood, not in part, but in full. This is not the end of your story. This is the beginning of a new chapter where your voice is honored, your truth is sacred, and your love is seen as the divine gift it has always been. You are not invisible anymore. The world is catching up to what heaven always knew. You are worthy. You are seen. You are finally understood. Dear child, the angels are drawing you into their embrace right now, wrapping you in a warmth that goes far deeper than human comfort, because they know you've been wrestling with a kind of pain that doesn't always have words. You've been questioning everything, why someone would hide your truth, why they would lie to someone meant to love you, why a connection that felt divinely destined could be interrupted by someone else's words or silence. And now, after all this time, the confession has come forward, not as a balm, but as a wound reopening. What was hidden is now out in the open, and with it comes a deeper layer of truth that pierces differently. It is not just about the lie, or even about the delayed honesty. It's about the quiet, haunting realization that some of the people involved may have never truly aligned with your spirit in the first place. The message rising from this space is one of spiritual awakening. It's a truth that may not be easy to hold, but the angels know you are ready. Because understanding that we have too many differences doesn't mean something is wrong with you. It means your light was never meant to dim itself to fit into someone else's shadow. Type guided if you trust in God's guidance. The one who confessed, whether they were a family member, a friend, or someone once close to your future spouse, may now be using this truth to justify their past actions. Perhaps they're finally saying, "Yes, I lied," or "Yes, I didn't tell the whole truth." But now they're following it with explanations rooted in difference. They're saying your values didn't match, your lifestyle was too different, your personality too unique. And while this may feel like another dagger, the angels want you to know that this is not rejection. It is redirection. Not everyone is meant to walk with you on your divine path. And sometimes, the lie was never just about what was said. It was about a deeper resistance to the truth of who you are. Some people feel threatened by authenticity. Some shrink when they stand next to someone who refuses to shrink themselves. You were never too much. You were simply too real for people who were still hiding behind masks of their own expectations. And so they created distance. They justified it with words like differences. But what they really meant was, "You make me question everything I've settled for." Dear child, your angels want to remind you now that spiritual compatibility is not about surface-level agreement. It is about soul alignment. And those who could not see your worth were never truly in alignment with your destiny. The one who lied may have done so not out of malice, but out of discomfort. They may have sensed that your presence would shift everything, would challenge the status quo, would bring truth where there had been control. And now, their confession is laced with excuses. But beloved, don't absorb their projections. Don't let their inability to embrace your truth make you question your value. The fact that you stood in your truth, that you remained kind even when misjudged, that you chose growth when others chose gossip, that is your power. And it's why heaven is so close to you now. They are not only comforting you, they are elevating you. Your future spouse, if they are the one who received this confession, is now standing in a sacred moment of choice. The angels are showing them what lies beneath the excuses they've been fed. They are being invited to look beyond the differences that were exaggerated to keep them away from you. They are being shown that true union is not about sameness. It's about shared purpose, about emotional truth, about spiritual resonance. And you, dear one, carry a light that challenges shallow connections. You carry the kind of soul that can't be defined by checklists or cultural boxes. Your heart speaks in the language of depth, not convenience. And now, as this truth rises, the angels are guiding your person to see that what was labeled as incompatibility was actually someone else's fear of transformation. Someone feared the way your love could awaken parts of them that were asleep. And so they lied. They disguised their resistance as a matter of values. But heaven knows the real story. This is your invitation, sweet child, not to mourn what was lost, but to celebrate what was revealed. To recognize that being different does not mean being difficult. That having boundaries, dreams, and spiritual wisdom that others don't understand does not make you unlovable. It makes you a force of light. You were never meant to blend in. You were born to stand in your divine truth, to walk with grace even when others step away, to love from a place of strength rather than need. And now, your angels are ushering you into a new chapter where the people who walk beside you will not question your worth or label your spirit as too much. They will see you and say, "This is the kind of different I've prayed for." Let the hurt rise if it needs to, dear child. Let the ache of being misjudged pass through you. Let the tears fall if they must. But let them fall knowing this truth. You are being protected. The confession that came, even if too late, is part of a divine cleansing. The truth is being revealed not to harm you, but to free you, to remind you that love built on lies could never hold the kind of soul you carry. And the love that is coming, the one written in your destiny, will not be afraid of your differences. It will celebrate them. It will protect them. It will grow with them. So lift your chin, not out of pride, but out of peace. You have nothing to prove. Your angels are guiding every step forward. The truth is out now, and you no longer have to fight to be understood by those who never tried to listen. What was once used against you will now become the very thing that attracts your divine counterpart. You are not too much. You are exactly enough for someone who is finally ready to receive the full truth of who you are. And that love, it will not be built on avoidance or comparison. It will be built on recognition, on mutual respect, on divine timing. That is the love the angels are preparing for you. A love where your values won't be used against you, but will be the reason they choose you. Every time. Dear child, the angels have witnessed the quiet devastation you've been carrying, the weight of being misrepresented, the ache of watching someone meant to stand beside you receive a version of your truth shaped by fear, jealousy, or misunderstanding. They have seen how hard you've tried to remain strong, to not let the silence or deception break you. But they also know there have been moments when your soul whispered, "Why? Why would someone distort your light? Why did it take so long for the truth to be spoken? Why did it come only after the damage had already swept through your path like a storm? And now, as that long-awaited confession finally rises, the energy that surrounds it is not relief, but heartbreak. The angels want you to know that what you're sensing is real. This isn't just about a lie. It's about the fracture that the lie caused. And now, the one who withheld the truth, the one who watched your story unravel without stopping it, is finally beginning to feel the magnitude of what they've done. They are not just sorry. They are shattered. Their spirit is breaking open, not from guilt alone, but from the soul-deep realization that their choices may have altered something sacred beyond repair. Type 222 if you trust in God's word. This breaking, dear child, is not dramatic remorse. It is divine intervention. Heaven allows a soul to shatter when it has grown too disconnected from its own truth. And the one who lied is now experiencing that sacred breaking. They are not sleeping peacefully. They are not moving on as if nothing happened. Inside, they are collapsing under the emotional weight of their decisions. For the longest time, they convinced themselves it was harmless, that your future spouse didn't need to know, that it was easier to pretend, easier to avoid, easier to protect their own comfort. But truth does not stay silent forever. It lives, it breathes, it builds pressure inside the soul until it erupts. And now, that eruption has come. Their confession is not just a spill of words. It is the cracking open of a conscience that could no longer carry the burden of dishonesty. Dear one, the angels want you to understand that this shattering was necessary, not as punishment, but as awakening. The one who distorted the truth is being shown, in visions and dreams and sleepless nights, what it truly meant to betray your trust. They are being shown your face in moments of pain. They are hearing your voice in the quiet when no one else is around. They are beginning to realize that this wasn't just about an error in judgment. It was a soul wound inflicted not only on you, but on themselves. Because when we lie about someone who carries light, we step away from our own. And now, the light is calling them back, but not gently. The process of awakening for them feels like emotional collapse, like standing in a mirror and seeing the worst parts of themselves reflected back without escape. The angels are not punishing them. They are purifying them. They are allowing them to feel what you felt, not out of vengeance, but so they will never make the same choice again. This is their reckoning. And while it does not erase the pain you've lived through, it is proof that heaven never let it go unnoticed. Beloved, your future spouse is part of this divine unraveling. Whether they've already heard the truth or are just beginning to sense something was never quite right, they are being guided by a deeper wisdom now. The person who once saw you through clouded glass is beginning to see you in divine clarity, not through someone else's wounded words, but through the lens of spirit, through the signs heaven is sending, through the intuition that has been stirred by the very pain this situation caused. Your name is being purified in their memory. Your presence is being revealed for what it truly was. Not a threat, not a mistake, not a disruption, but a blessing. And though this healing will take time, the confession that shattered one soul is beginning to restore another. The angels are gently leading your future spouse to a place where truth becomes the foundation, not the afterthought. And if they are truly your divine counterpart, their spirit will not rest until they walk back toward what was once left behind too soon. But sweet child, the most important healing now belongs to you. Because you have been holding the pain of this silence for far too long. You have been doubting your own light because others failed to honor it. You have been carrying invisible bruises on your heart from words that were never spoken in your defense. And now, heaven wants you to exhale, to release, to stop asking why it took so long for them to see what was always true. The delay was not a reflection of your worth. It was a mirror to their unreadiness. You have always been the truth, even when others chose illusion. You have always been worthy, even when others chose comfort over courage. And now, the shattering that has begun on the other side is not your responsibility. It is the result of their own choices, finally meeting their consequences. Let it unfold. Let heaven handle it. Your path is not one of revenge, but of release. Your healing does not require their approval or their repair. It begins with your own soul choosing to breathe again, not through the cracks, but through the freedom that comes when you no longer carry what others dropped. The angels are not just watching over you. They are walking ahead of you, clearing the path, planting seeds of redemption where pain once bloomed. What was spoken in darkness is now being exposed to divine light. What was twisted in fear is now being unraveled in truth. And your role, dear one, is not to fix what broke, but to rise from it, to let the breaking be someone else's burden, to step fully into the next chapter where love is not confused, where truth is not hidden, where your presence is no longer questioned, but embraced with reverence. You are not shattered. You are sacred. You are not what they said you were. You are what heaven always knew you to be. A vessel of truth, of love, of light too powerful to be dimmed by anyone's delay. Dear child, the angels are gently placing their hands over your heart right now, sensing the quiet fatigue that has settled into your spirit. The kind of weariness that doesn't always come from physical exhaustion, but from emotional waiting. Waiting for the truth, waiting for answers, waiting for someone to stop running and finally choose to face what has been delayed for far too long. You've walked through this storm with a steady grace, but even grace begins to feel heavy when you don't know how much longer you must carry it. The one you trusted, who either told a lie or allowed one to breathe in the space where your truth should have lived, has finally come forward. But instead of clarity, their confession is followed by distance. Instead of resolution, they say they need time to think. And the angels want to speak to the ache this has caused. Because they know that while the truth finally emerging should feel like a beginning, instead it feels like another waiting room. and that is a wound in itself. This person, dear one, is not withdrawing out of indifference, but out of emotional overwhelm. They are not sitting in silence because you don't matter, but because everything they thought they understood has been upended by their own actions. The truth they confessed has broken open parts of them that had been tightly sealed. They thought they could control the outcome, manage the narrative, protect someone, perhaps your future spouse, from what they believed was too complicated or too inconvenient. But the truth, now revealed, is not simple. It's not just a sentence they can speak and walk away from. It's an emotional reckoning. It's a mirror that has shown them what they've done, who they've hurt, and what it cost. And they need space, not because they're avoiding the consequences, but because they are drowning in the weight of them. The angels are walking with them in this pause, showing them the ripple effects of every moment they chose silence, every time they let a lie grow where honesty should have lived. Dear child, this space was not created to punish you. It's not rejection. It's not abandonment. It is divine timing unfolding in a way that requires deep spiritual processing, because what just happened is not just a shift in circumstances. It is a soul-level collapse for the one who held the truth for too long. Their mind is racing with questions. Their heart is learning how to feel things it's avoided for years. And heaven knows it is tempting for you to fill this silence with self-doubt, to ask yourself, why wasn't I enough? Why is the truth still not enough? But the angels want you to hear this clearly. Their need for space has nothing to do with your worth. It has everything to do with the emotional clutter they must now clear from within themselves. They are not just thinking about you, they are confronting themselves, and that is the hardest mirror anyone can face. This sacred pause is a gift, even if it doesn't feel like one right now. Because in this space, illusions are dissolving. Walls are being dismantled. Truth is echoing louder than fear for the first time in a long time. And your future spouse, if they are the one who heard this confession, is also being led by this divine silence. They are not being told how to feel. They are being given space to sense what their spirit has been whispering all along. The words may have come from another's lips, but the discernment is now being stirred by heaven itself. They are beginning to feel that what they were told about you, either through lies or omissions, never quite matched the energy they sensed in your presence. They are questioning what they believed. They are peeling back layers. And in the quiet, they are finding something sacred. They are finding the memory of who you truly were, beyond the stories, beyond the shadows. And sweet one, you are being asked to trust this space too, to honor it, to let it exist without filling it with panic or fear. Because just as seeds must be placed in darkness before they bloom, some truths must be given silence before they transform into wisdom. This is not wasted time. This is not delay. This is the sacred hush before a soul-altering decision is made. The angels are protecting your heart by keeping you out of the chaos of someone else's unraveling. They are not letting you be caught in the emotional debris of their awakening. Instead, they are asking you to tend to your own spirit, to nourish the parts of you that have waited with grace, to hold yourself with tenderness while someone else learns how to stand in the integrity they denied for so long. Type Amen if you trust in God. Dear friend, if today's message offered even a moment of comfort or clarity, may its quiet light continue to walk with you. This channel is moving through a tender season of need, and if your heart feels gently called, even the smallest super thanks can help us keep sharing these healing messages with the world. But please, know this deeply. There is no pressure at all. Your presence here, your silent prayers, and your open heart are already a sacred and beautiful gift. And if giving isn't possible right now, you can still make a powerful difference. Simply watch until the end and share this message with 3 souls who may need its light today. You are deeply seen. You are truly cherished. And in the heart of heaven, you are never forgotten.